We'll see if there we go. Perfect. We'll wait for the PowerPoint to get started. Great. Almost there? Maybe. Well, I'll preface this with, I will need some audience engagement in this. So much like the last video, you guys will be interacting a little bit, so get ready. Woo! Awesome, there we are. Technical difficulties, they always happen. Something we gotta love to learn. I am a dancer, and you might be thinking this means I dance in a studio and I perform on a stage much like this one. Because that's what a dancer does, right? We dance on a theater stage in front of an audience full of people, and we spend hours and hours tirelessly getting ready in a studio for those performances that are really just a fleeting moment. But for me, dance is so much more than that. I grew up dancing at a local dance studio in Maryland, and I really spent my childhood fluttering and spinning in those studios. But I was a pretty shy kid. I cried just about every time my dad dropped me off at school, and I wasn't super keen on meeting new people. But dance ignited something in me. Dance was always something different. Because when it came to performance time, I mustered all the courage I possibly had to get up on that stage and perform. In order to perform, I had to have confidence, and I had to believe in myself. Dance ignited this confidence and courage in me that I hadn't quite found anywhere else. So years and years after finding this confidence on the stage, that same confidence began pouring into other parts of my life. I became more confident in school with my family and friends. I even became more creative, more outgoing, more determined, more disciplined. I don't think I fully understood it at the time, but dance has played a huge role in shaping the person that I've become. So with an unwavering passion for dance, I naturally started a BFA dance program at Florida State University, and I had my heart set on performing. I was going to dance in a company. That's what I was going to do. Until September 4th, 2013, I received an email, out of all things, that introduced me to the nonprofit Movement Exchange. And basically the email read, if you like to dance, if you want to travel, and you're interested in teaching, join Movement Exchange in Panama. I thought, okay, this sounds a little too good to be true because I love to dance. I really want to travel, and I really need some teaching skills because that's important in the dance profession. So yes, count me in. In March 2014, the spring break of my sophomore year of college, I attended my very first international dance exchange to Panama. And my whole world was changed. I was joined by 8 other university students, and for 8 days, we taught dance classes to kids at orphanages and at-risk youth foundations. We worked with kids ages 3 through 18. We learned Panamanian dance forms taught by local dance professionals, something I had never done before. We collaborated with the dance majors at the University of Panama in a peer-to-peer exchange. We taught class one day, they taught class the next. And meanwhile, we were learning about Panamanian history and culture. And what I experienced on this short trip was so much more than I ever could have expected. Because when I landed in Panama, I expected to be the teacher, to share what I had to offer. I knew why I loved dance. It was my passion, my tool for creative expression, my passion. But what resulted on this exchange was a true exchange of ideas, culture, and movement. I learned that dance is a universal language, that through movement we can connect to people around us regardless of what language we speak or what country we come from. With none of us being able to speak Spanish on the trip, we quickly learned to use our bodies and body language to communicate. We incorporated movement games and activities in our classes that fostered this collaboration and creative expression. So without words, we were able to express who we were in our truest, unfiltered forms. And even though we could hardly say anything more than hello, how are you to all the kids that we worked with, by the end of the trip, we knew what made each kid special and unique. Dance was what allowed us to form these friendships. And through movement, we became connected. And like I mentioned, before this, I knew what dance was for me. But I had never thought about what dance could be for individuals, for the communities, and for the world at large. I needed an international experience like this one to show me what could be, what the world could look like if everyone had access to dance. And more importantly, what the world could look like if I shared my passion with the world. So after lots of dancing and many, many tears, I returned to Florida State University feeling inspired and excited by everything I had just experienced, but also a little confused on what to do next. Thankfully, Movement Exchange had already been creating a network of dance diplomats, and we define a dance diplomat as someone who uses their talent and their passion for dance to make the world a better place, to create some sort of positive social change. So these dancers in this network of dance diplomats were people just like me. They had attended an international dance exchange and were inspired by what dance could do abroad, and they took this initiative and they brought it back to their own communities and began teaching free dance classes all across the United States. I joined this network of dance diplomats, and for the past 4 years, I've been engaging in numerous conversations about this intersection between dance and service. And a lot of these conversations have boiled down to how we as dancers can use our passion and what we know and love to make the world just a little bit better. And we've all kind of thought about how the benefits of dance education extend far beyond the dance studio. Because dance, when taken outside of the typical studio, is a tool that we can use to help individuals discover their strengths and weaknesses. We can connect communities, and we can learn about the world. So on an individual level, dance, when we're dancing, we're often working towards a goal. We're learning how to reach those goals. We become determined to reach that goal. And through that process, we learn the things that come easy and the things that don't, our strengths and our weaknesses. And when we're dancing, we're learning about how our bodies move and how we process information. Dance can also help us lead healthier and happier lives. Moving releases endorphins that help us find that overall sense of happiness and well-being. And when we move, we improve our physical health. We reduce our risk for disease. We improve our sleep, and we enhance our muscular strength and flexibility. Moving just a little bit each day in dance can help us improve our health. And on a community level, when we're dancing in a dance class, we're usually dancing with other people. And in a dance class, of course, it's 100% important to express who you are as a person. But equally important is to be observant of other people in the space. Be aware of how others are moving their bodies and expressing themselves. To be active listeners. This creates a shared space for everyone to truly be themselves and be heard. And in a dance class, we incorporate movement games and activities that foster this collaboration and teamwork. So whether we're dancing on the same counts, choreographing together, or building a giant human pyramid, who knows? All of this requires effective communication and problem-solving skills, tools that are necessary in any team, inside or outside the dance studio. And on the global scale, dance can teach us about the world. It connects us to communities around the world. And when we learn cultural dance forms, we learn about the history and the context of those dance forms. So for some communities, dance is a connection to spirituality, to nature. It allows some communities to make sense of this crazy world that we live in. And when we learn about the context and history of these movements, and we do those movements, we learn to embody that. So when we're learning ballet, we can feel how regal King Louis XIV and the French courts might have felt while they were codifying this movement. And when we're learning capoeira, we can feel the strength and the power that slaves in Brazil must have had when they were using these dance forms for self-defense and protection. So dance can give us this global perspective, this cross-cultural understanding. Dance works on all of these levels, at the individual level, helping us learn about ourselves, on a community level, uniting people, and on a global level, allowing us to learn about the world. But in order to reap all the benefits of dance and take advantage of all that dance has to offer, I think we have to move a little. So I see some scared eyes in the audience, but I need one super, super brave volunteer to come up and demonstrate with me, and then we're going to try all together. So raise your hand if you're super brave. Yes. Okay, come on up. Awesome. Yeah, round of applause. That takes some guts. What's your name?
Barrington.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so it's really simple. I won't make it too complicated on you. We're just going to try it. So it's a simple mirroring game. So just follow what I'm doing. So if I move we'll start out really simple. If I move my right arm, you're going to move your left. Good. And just be really attentive to what I'm doing. So it can be something really small. It can be something really big. So right now you're following me, but at any point, you can decide that you want to be the leader, and I'll start following you. Yeah. And then I can decide that I want to be the leader again. Good. Perfect. So that's the exercise. We're going to do it one more time up here. Round of applause. Yes, absolutely. But now you guys get to try it. So go ahead and stand up. I'm sorry for anyone who this is torture. Stand up and turn to somebody, ideally somebody you don't know here today. That would make it a little bit more interesting. Introduce yourself. Perfect. And go ahead and decide who's going to be the leader and who's going to be the follower to start. And then just go for it. We'll try it again up here. I'll start. Awesome. Round of applause for everybody. Thank you so much for volunteering. And what I love about this exercise, one, it gave a couple giggles, which I like, but in addition, it requires active listening and for everyone to take the initiative to be the leader. Sometimes that's scary. And sometimes being the leader is really easy, and you have to take a step back and listen. But that's why I love this exercise, and that's what dance can do. And while we might not all be trained or professional dancers out here, while I think you all just danced wonderfully, we all have that one thing we're passionate about, that one thing that makes us tick, the one thing that we get excited about. And we know why we're passionate about that. All the skills and things we've gained by pouring our hearts and energy into that one thing. So pinpoint that and imagine what the world could look like if everyone had access to that one thing. What does your passion, what you love, have to offer to individuals, to communities, and the world at large? And that's not to say that every single person is going to love exactly what you do, because as much as I hate to admit it, I know that not everybody loves to dance. But that's not the point. If we can recognize the full potential of our passion to make a difference in this world, and we share that with others, whether it's one person, 5 people, a whole room, or a whole town, we're sure to change the life of at least one person. And even better, if we can find a community of like-minded individuals who are passionate about that same thing. Because together we can reach more people and impact more people's lives than we could ever do alone. And what starts as one idea from one person can grow into a network of volunteers across the world. So find your passion, share it with others, and you're sure to make the world a better place. Thank you.